Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, Mess Graphics here, and today guys, I'm going to be showing you how to design a simple church flyer with Photoshop. Without further ado guys, let's get started and let's start designing.
Mess Graphics.
So welcome to Photoshop. I have my workspace right here, and the first thing I want to do is I want to head over to File, New, and as you can see, we have a lot of dimensions based on the different documents and file types that you want to design for. But based on the fact that I'm doing this for Instagram, I'll be using a custom shape. First of all, I'll be using pixels, and you can see the different units of measurements right here. So what I'll be designing for is for the new Instagram portrait size, which is 1080 on the width and 1350 on the height. Okay, so for my resolution, I'll be leaving it at 300, and then my color mode RGB, and with all these ones constant, I'll hit create. And now you can see my workspace. This is just like having a drawing on a canvas, and I'm going to be placing the background that I'll be using for this project. That's the first background that I'll be using for this project. So let me place this right here. So I got this background image from Pinterest.com. And what I'm doing is just to stretch out the image to fit into my workspace. And then I'm going to adjust it a little bit, and then head over to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. So what I want to do is I want to blur the image a little bit. Okay, let me just set the radius manually. Okay, I think this is okay. Okay, I think this is okay. Just this a little bit using my transform controls. And then what I want to do is I now want to place my overlay background. So let me head over to my file manager and place this blue purple gradient background right here. And then I'm going to spread it out and adjust it accordingly. Okay. So, okay, let me adjust it more. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to make this an overlay. I want to make this an overlay over my background. And to achieve this, I need to use the blending option. Okay, so for the blending mode I'll be using for this, I'll be using color. So as you can see, what this does is that it changes the image of my previous background with the image of the overlay layer. So let me just adjust this a little bit again. Okay, so this is looking nice. And I'm going to select these both layers and group it together. So we have our background layer right here. You can see. And then I'm going to be placing the logo of the church. So that's Redeemed Christian Church of God. And I'm going to reduce it using my transform controls and then drag it to the top. Okay, and then I'm going to type in the name of the church. So for this particular test, I'll be using Gotham Pro Bold as my font choice. And I'll be changing the color to white. And as you can see, I'm actually adjusting my leading and my tracking to make my tests look nicer. And then once I have that done, I'm going to use the transform controls. But first of all, let me align it using my alignment tool. And then once that is done, I'm going to use the transform controls to reduce the size. Okay, so let me drag it up. So we have this right here. The name of the church is completed, but let me change it to medium. Okay. One thing about design is that design is always subject to changes and adjustments. So I duplicated the church name and I'll be using this for my presence tests. So I'll be trying my best to observe good hierarchy in this design. So first of all, let me increase the tracking of this test to 1000. So most people ask why we put spaces on our test. The reason why we do this is because of these are not really important elements, but we put them in terms of aesthetics and to make our design look nice. So this is more for aesthetics than visibility, but make sure you don't do this on text that actually needs to be read. Okay, so next I'll be adding the program itself, not the theme, just the program. For this, I'll still be using Gotham Pro. So we have Kingdom Men Conference, and I'm going to create a type of hierarchy on this by making a part of my text to be bolder than the remaining. So I'm going to highlight Kingdom Men, make it bolder, and then leave conference at regular. So then I'm going to reduce it once again with my transform controls. Okay, then I'm going to drag it. Okay. So one thing I really love about Photoshop is based on the use of guidelines, it really helps you with your spacing for your test and also for your design elements. Okay, so just doing little adjustments and grouping similar layers together. So that's for the logo. Okay. So it's always good to make sure that your design is well labeled using groups. And the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding the theme for this program. So in case of if I forget this maybe at the end of the video or maybe in between the video, the font I'll be using for this for the theme is actually Moglight. So I'll be dropping various elements on the link in the description where you can go and download all the elements that I'll be using for this design. So quickly, what are glyphs? Glyphs are different variations of some text of some fonts. So some fonts have different variations for different tests. So that's what I'm trying to do. So as you can see that there is a difference in the way that my K looks than how the regular font appears. So this is what glyphs is all about. So if you cannot see your glyph layer or your glyph panel, you need to head over to Windows and activate it. But if your test has a glyph, if you select that particular test, you can see that it shows you the different variations of that test. So as you can see, if I select G and I can see the different variations of the G, you can see most of them has like a line drawn under it. So this is peculiar to fonts that have special variations. So you mustn't find this in every font. So I just wanted to make that clear for those who might want to use this exact font or to get the same result that I did. And as you can see in this second test, you can see that it's goes it's a little bit too much. So from the glyphs panel, I can also adjust this. Okay, so I can just adjust this from here too to reduce the number of tests that has the glyph, because I duplicated the kingship test. So the thing now became too much on my second test. So let me just do that adjustment quickly. So in design, what influences your choice of font? So for me, one of the things that influenced my choice of font is the kind of project I'm working on. So as you can see, this Moglight is more of a serif font, and I love using serif fonts for something that shows maybe like an ancient word mark or something that is talking about kingship, like royalty. So that's the reason why I chose Moglight for this project. And as you can see, everything is already looking nice, and I'll still be adding some other elements to make this design more beautiful. But first of all, like I said, always remember to label your design using groups so as to keep everything smooth and organized. You don't want to keep looking for elements or looking for particular layers in your design every time. And also always remember to align your different elements when you're designing. So this is already looking nice, and I'm just trying to rename most of these groups. Then I'm going to convert this layer to a smart object, and then I'm going to duplicate it. And all I'm going to do is rename this layer to theme blur. So I'm trying to create a kind of blur on the test. So this is what I'll be doing to apply it. So I have to create a blur on just this layer. And first of all, I'll head over to screen. And then I'm going to be using the Gaussian blur. Okay, so I'm just going to set the radius to the appropriate pixels, or you can just go with anything you like you can experiment with different figures until you get close to what you have in mind for this. Okay, so then we have this right here. So let me zoom in and make sure that everything is okay. You can see the blur on the test, and I'm just going to do a little bit of adjustments. Okay, so it's more like Redeemed Christian Church of God Presence Kingdom Men Conference, and then the theme, which is kingship and dominion. Okay, so make sure that is aligned. Okay, okay, let's talk about the importance of images in designs. For me, I think images help buttress the information or give the person who's reading your flyer or your design an idea of what the design is talking about. So why am I saying this? The reason why I'm saying this is that I'm going to be adding an image right on my design here, and this image is going to be kind of explaining the theme better for anyone who's going to be reading this flyer. So I'm going to head over to my file manager, and I'm going to place this image right here. As you can see, this is an image of a hand holding a crown. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust this using my transform controls, and I'm going to be placing it in a way that fits into the grid or the pattern and the style of my design. Okay, so there is actually a fast and easy way to blend images to your background. And the easiest way to do this is by duplicating your background. You don't want the picture of your image to be too distinctively different from the background. So we'll duplicate the background, put it above the image layer, and then create a clipping mask. And then for the blending options, I'll be going with overlay, and then I'm going to be reducing the fill. Okay, so I think I'll be going with 18. Okay, so as you can see now, this blends more with our background and is looking nicer than before. and then I'm going to convert both of them out an image by merging them together. So you can see this right here, and everything is already looking nice. So the last adjustment I'll be doing to this particular image is the fact that I'll be adding a kind of glow, a little bit below the theme and above the crown that the hand is holding. So let me head over to my file explorer, pick this image up, expand it using my transform controls, and I want to head over to blending options, and then I'll select screen. I think screen will be the nice option to select for this. Okay, so we have this right here. So I'm going to reduce the fill because I don't want it to be too noisy. So I actually want to rasterize this layer so that I can clean some parts of it with my eraser. Okay, just to remove some little parts on this image. So I'll still be making little adjustments to this. Okay. One thing about design is that design is not always absolute. Most times there are different perspectives or different ways in which you can actually view or explain or really understand the design. So each element, each decision is actually influenced by what the designer has in mind for a particular project. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to zoom into this design. And the next thing I'm going to be adding right here is the sub theme for this program. So for this particular test, I'll be using Bebas. And then I'm going to be working on the tracking. Okay. So let me just get to that quickly. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to select the whole test and I'm going to properly align this test. And then also do some adjustments on the test like all caps and reducing the tracking, the kerning, and then the scale of this test. Okay. So I just have to find the perfect figure for this. Okay, 30 is a little bit too much. Okay, let's try 28. Okay, 28. 28 is okay. 28 is okay. So let me just reduce it using my transform control. Okay, so I'm going to be updating this test. I'll be using emergence of godly kingdom men in Nigeria. So I feel that's much more better than building godly kingdom men. Okay, so let me just type that out quickly. Okay, so I'm done with the test and I'm going to be adjusting it just a little bit. Okay, let me zoom into okay. So this is actually okay. I'm going to be adding a second test which will be showing the name of the pastor. But first of all, let's see this. And then I'll hit I'll right click to select this test layer. Okay, and then I'll hit Ctrl J and duplicate it. So I'll just be writing the name of the pastor who is going to be hosting this event. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be talking about in Photoshop or in flyer designs are the use of grids, rulers, and lines. Okay, one of the perfect way I would explain how these tools have helped me, both the ruler tool and the grids and all the guidelines, is that it helps me arrange my design in a way in which when I want two elements to be in the same line or to be at the same place, I can actually measure it, or I can actually place them at the right part. So that's just one of the importance of grid to me. So as you can see, I want these two tests to be at the same point. And I'm now going to be editing this for the second part of the test that I want to be there. So as you can see, with my guideline, I can make sure that everything is equal in both length and also in width. So as you can see, this is actually something that I'm doing to make sure that everything in my design is very, very much aligned. So that's all that, guys. Okay, so now what we have here is the date and the time of the program. Okay, so for this, I'll be adding the venue. Okay, so next thing I'm going to be removing these grid lines or these guidelines from my workspace. So all you just need to do is to drag it to the ruler and then it disappears. So that's what I'll be doing right now. Okay. So as you can see, everything is aligned at its best. And I just like the flow of the design and the pattern of the design. And right now I'm in the layer panel adjusting my tests to make sure it's more aligned. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select some layers right here in my layers panel. And then what I want to do is I want to drag it up a little bit. Okay, so I think this actually okay. And then what I want to do is I want to head over to my shape tool and create a new placeholder for my text. Some people call it text box, some people call it placeholder, but me, I feel like the right word for it is placeholder because it's actually a place where you impute your text. And for this project, this is going to be the point where I'll be imputing the features of this program. So most times I use placeholders, I use shapes as my placeholders for images and most times for tests. So I'm just finding the perfect blending option that would fit this shape layer. Okay, so make sure it's aligned. Okay, so I'm just going to be adding the features and what will be happening in this program because I'm trying my best to make sure that this flyer is quite explanatory. You understand? That it carries all the details needed to draw attention to this particular program. So let me just okay, I'm still making some adjustments to this. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to be reducing the logo a little bit. So what I'm just doing is I'm taking my time to look at the design and to know the adjustments to do to it. Okay, so right now I'm going to be typing in the text for my features for this program. Okay, let me just duplicate this with the test here already because I'm feeling a little bit lazy. Okay, I think I made a mistake. I meant to hit Ctrl G on that. Okay. So let me type in the features for this program. Okay, so I think I'm done with everything test on this project. So let's zoom out and see how this design looks. Okay, so this is very, very nice. But I think the last thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding an overlay layer on this design. Okay, so I have to find that separately because I didn't put it in a folder. So let me just find it in my downloads. Okay. So remember that I'll be dropping all the resources that I'll be using for this project in a link in the description. So if you want to be working on this project, head over to the link at the description. You'll be able to go there, get a drive that has all the elements that I use for this project. Okay, so these are actually a bokeh, or let's say a lens flare image that I actually used to add a little bit of overlay to my test. So first of all, I'm going to create a new layer. Okay, create a clipping mask, and then I'll fill a color here. I'll be filling the color purple to this okay, color. And then I'll select both of them and I'm going to merge them together. Okay, so let me name this overlay. Okay, then I'm going to hit Ctrl T. And then I'll flip this. Okay. So then I'm going to expand it using my transform controls, and then head over to my blending options and I'll be going with screen. So as you can see, this adds a kind of uniqueness and beauty to the design. Okay. So I need to actually adjust this to the way that I feel best. Okay, but I think it looks nice. I think it really looks nice. Okay. Okay, I want a little bit of flare at the top, but this actually looks so fantastic. I'm actually good with what we've been able to accomplish in this project. So do well to follow the steps that I followed on this design. Do well to practice this and follow the guidelines I use for this project. And you should be able to come up with something very, very much similar to this. So let me just group some of these layers so that I don't make any mistake in them. Okay. So thank you guys for sticking to the end of this video. It's been an amazing time coming up with this beautiful design and sharing it with you guys. If you are new to my channel, do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to get notified each time I drop a new video. But if you're already a subscriber, thank you for joining us once again, and thank you for sticking with Mez Graphics. So with all that said and done, Mez Graphics out. See you guys in my next video.